Hi, good morning. Welcome to our Saturday live weekly roundup of Canadian immigration news, updates, and things you should be doing, things you shouldn't be doing, etc., etc., etc. Okay, Akash says a lot of us in RFV category haven't seen any movement since a long time. We are not even getting remade requests. Any thoughts as to why we continue to be on a back burner? Okay, so from what I have picked up, again, nobody said it out loud, nobody said it out clearly, but from what I have picked up, that in this particular year, 2021, the attention or the focus for the large part of the year was on in Canada applicants. That's what IRCC was looking at, because there was no way of predicting when the travel restrictions will end. So even until, if I don't know if you are aware, there was a memo, internal memo from IRCC, which media sites spoke about, which was, I think, dated 6th or 7th of June, whereby IRCC sought permission of the immigration minister to continue focusing on large draws meant for CEC applicants. And that was on the 6th or 7th of June. Only on the 21st of June did they lift the restriction of people who had COPRs and they could now travel to Canada. So that change happened at that point of time. And then we have just progressed further and further and further, as in doors opening up for more and more people. So that would have shifted. That whole attention of being only on in Canada applications probably would have shifted, but because they had applied so many resources to handle that, for example, there was TR to PR pathway. So at that point of time, they moved their resources from people who were handling temporary residence visa to now handle TR to PR pathway applications. So there was training those people, they were making them aware, and then reassigning them jobs. So therefore, people who are federal skilled worker outlined as your application, that probably would have been considered as not high priority at that point of time. One, because they would not be allowed to travel to Canada anyways. Now, once those restrictions were lifted, because they already had put certain wheels in motion, now for that to then stop and then to reassign and restock and then come back into what they were doing in the normal way of things, that is what is taking time, and that is the reason why we are seeing all the delay. This was the understanding I was given, and I can see the logic in what is being said. It's not like today, if they're doing this, tomorrow they can wake up and say, okay, now the restrictions have changed, let's start doing this from tomorrow. IRCC is a huge department. There are international offices and then the domestic network offices all over the place. And at the end of the day, they are still a federal government department. There is a lot of bureaucracy. There is a lot of red tape and a lot of the internal memos and how things should be done and how it flows down. All that is in place. And just like in any federal and any government department, right? Everybody wants to save themselves. They will not make a decision. They will not do something unless they've seeked approval of somebody who can then put their neck on the line. So because of all this, people like you have had to face the delay. Also, the expectation is that because they put in so much of resources, efforts into making sure that the people who were already inside Canada could be seen through, because again, there was a lot of again, I'm referring to the 6th or 7th June memo that was spoken about, that they intended to clear most of the CEC applications which were submitted before the September 2021 within this year itself. That they wanted to clear out at least 40 to 45,000 of the TR to PR pathway applications within this year. That's a big task. That's a big target for them. Okay, and again, with all the reassignment of things that has happened, with all that attention being focused in handling these applications, even the international offices. So when I'm saying international offices, I mean visa offices in different parts of the world. Even the resources over there were reassigned to handle and take care of these applications so that they could be processed faster. With all this happening, obviously there would be certain categories of visas which were going to take a hit, and unfortunately, outland federal skilled worker categories was one of them because of the travel restrictions, because they couldn't travel. So obviously they were considered as not a priority and they were put on the back burner. The problem is now that things have changed and now that they have to bring back things into the normal way of things, it is taking time. These wheels of change are moving very excruciatingly slowly, but that's basically what's happening. Also, When I had asked the question from IRCC in my NCIC conference, and also based on several other things that the spokespersons or the representatives of IRCC said, they did very clearly state that their attention this year was on in-Canada applications. That was said very, very clearly. There was no mincing words. But they also said that going forward, going into the next year, that focus is going to shift. It is not going to be only in Canada anymore. So while they did not say they will go absolutely 100% back to normal pre-COVID times as to how they were conducting draws, that was not said. But at the same time, what they said that they will not concentrate on in Canada as much as they did in 2021, and they will probably in some way go back to sort of handling some of the other applications as well. What was also mentioned is that because the COVID conditions across the world are unpredictable, and because, I'm sure you already know that Canada still hasn't approved Covaxin as the vaccine, though WHO did give it the approval. So Canada will follow its own processes, will follow its own regulatory requirements in whatever they can do to protect their citizens, their nationals, their residents, right? And in that, they will always keep a lookout of what's happening across the world, and any changes, whether they are political, whether they are in this manner because of this COVID reasons, they would keep making those changes. So next year is predicted, as they said, to be uneven. Now, what does uneven mean? I don't know. I mean, I would only assume that uneven means that there would not be a very straight line of how things would be done. There could be blips and bumps along the way, as in, some unexpected programs, some unexpected changes, some unexpected public policies. All those things could happen. But the more important factor would be that the focus would not be on in Canada anymore, but would also come back to outside Canada. Having said that, I would then assume that now that this trickle and this drizzle that we keep talking about, this PPR things has started, you would see more and more and more applications getting processed. I'm not sure how many of them. There is an inventory of about 50,000 applications which are with people who are federal skilled worker outlined, and most of them have already been processed, who already have an RFV like you have. And I would see a lot of them would be processed within, some of them would be processed within this year. And I would expect that first 2 or 3 months of next year would then probably be those would be targeted, because they would then contribute to the landed immigrant quota for the next year. Because you see, if they are processed this year, what would happen if they are processed this year? Because they're processed this year, they technically or probably are not going to be arriving in Canada this year. So those are not going to add to the new immigrant numbers that these are working so hard towards. So IRCC is working hard to get to the quota of 401,000. By processing your application who is waiting outside Canada, you may not come to Canada within the next 2 months. So processing you does not help them achieve their target at this point of time. What is helping them achieve the target at this point of time is processing the in-Canada applications quickly. So because they can straight away issue the COPR, you don't have to go through the passport, visa, stamping, arriving in Canada, none of that. So straight away COPR issued, you're a permanent resident. That is another number checked on their the quota target. But going forward with the next year, if they are able to issue these passport requests to this big chunk of people, 50,000, how many ever are waiting, they would then be able to contribute towards the targets, towards the quotas for next year. Okay, so that is the more logical way of understanding why they might be holding back. I'm not saying this is exactly the reason, but this is my understanding as to why they probably are holding back, because processing them at this point of time does not give them anything. Okay, it's only that the people will be coming next year. And if they're coming next year, then may as well process them next year. Instead, use your resources in processing what you have for this year. That's basically what I would look at. So I know that you are absolutely frustrated. I mean, a lot of you are, but I guess it's just we are getting there. You will get there too as well. So don't worry about it. Everybody, thank you very much. Once again, I request you, please give us that thumbs up on the video, because it would help out to reach to more and more people. Follow us on Instagram if you're not already doing that. That's the link, Kubeir Kamal on Instagram. Obviously, please subscribe to the channel. It's the best place to be on YouTube, right? And if you are looking to discuss about your application one-on-one, then I am an ICCRC licensed immigration consultant. By all means, use that link to book an appointment, and we'll be very happy to chat and see what needs to be done in your application in specific cases. Thank you so much for joining in. Take care, stay safe, and I shall see you next time.